Welcome to Wealthy Mind, where we talk about all things finances, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the surprising. Hello and welcome to Wealthy Mind. I am your host, Misty Rose Gold, International Success Coach. And here at Wealthy Mind, we love to help you create and maintain a wealthy mind. Today I have with me Todd. Hello, Todd.
Hello, Misty.
Aw, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good,
And you?
excellent. I am having a wonderful day and I am super excited to talk about some things with you. You have an amazing story to share as a business owner, so I'm super excited to dive in. What is your full name and what do you do?
I'm Todd Krause. I do several things. One of them is I have a large cleaning company here in the Indianapolis area. The other thing is I have a consulting and public speaking practice under the brand of Silversun Consulting.
And you consult specifically for the cleaning industry, right?
Heavily in the cleaning industry.
hmm
What I do applies broadly, though, to the service industry.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you for clarifying. So for cleaning businesses and service industries, like what type of services?
Think home services, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, roofing, your junk removal.
Okay, so the trades.
The trades. Everything
Wonderful.
in my initial client base really started in the cleaning industry.
hmm Well, it's natural, right? Because you had a cleaning business. Or let me rephrase that. So this is the story that I want to share with our audience is that you bought an existing cleaning business
I did.
and the culture
In
wasn't the
September
best.
in September of 2020, after well, here we are in most of the world still stuck in COVID. We had the good luck here in Indiana that the COVID restrictions lifted July 1st. And that really accelerated the process of getting the cleaning company. Otherwise, it was stuck.
Mm, mm,
So I walked into a business that was doing around 1.6 million a year. They would have said they had 33 or 4 employees. Maybe on a good day, we could get 22. On a really good day, 24 to show up to work. It, it looked good on paper. It
hmm
had good financials, which was a big thing that attracted me to it. It would provide the income I needed for my family. But then I walked into this business and a toxic environment, high turnover with the cleaners.
mm,
The managers I learned later were ready to walk out the door themselves.
hmm
They told me this after we made the changes that approved it. The customers, there was high turnover. Looking back on it, I think, how did the previous owner ever grow it to the size it was with the turnover he had?
mm.
I mean, that alone is just a little bit mind-boggling. But somehow he did. And
Miracles happen, right?
miracles happen. On the books, we had 619 customers when I bought it.
Okay.
A typical day was the teams would line up outside the manager's office, and one by one, the managers would give them the lecture about what they did wrong yesterday and what they broke and what things they forgot to clean
Mm,
and which customer is upset. When the door would open, that team would leave. Next team goes in, a repeat. And that's the way it was. It was just grumpy. Nobody was happy. Everybody was miserable. And I finally just pulled the managers aside and I just said, stop.
Mm,
Stop. Just stop. We don't treat people that way. We treat them with dignity. We treat them with respect. If the cleaners choose to act like children, then let them. We're, we're going to do what we can to lift them up to our level. So I started changing the language that we used because everything was no and don't. And if you do it, then this is the consequence and that's the consequence. And look out. And I said, tell them what you want. Tell them what we need them to do. And then go one step further and tell them what the benefits are of doing that.
mhm,
Literally within no more than 8 weeks, the culture had just completely changed from
mm,
this negative culture to a positive one. And
mm,
then we layered on rewards tied directly to giving our customers what we promised. So when the customers would click the button on our app and say, you did a good job, money on that team's next paycheck. No waiting
mm,
till the end of the quarter or the end of the year. A specific was $10 on their next paycheck. If the customer went one step further and told Google we did a good job, 15 more dollars. At first, when I told other people about this, they said, oh my God, that's going to cost so much money. In the end, no, it didn't. It saved us
mhm,
so much money.
mhm,
And it completely transformed the place. If you look at it today, the cleaners come in, they're laughing, they're smiling, they get their paperwork, they get their equipment, and off they go. And the days
mm,
run smoothly. There's no more of this lecturing cleaners anymore. It just doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in years. And we started growing. So then, but I had to pull the managers aside a few times because they were still stuck
mhm,
in this mode that came from the prior owner. Say, okay, okay, okay. The prior owner has left the building. We don't do this anymore. We don't treat people that way. Borrow that phrase from the late night show.
uh-huh.
Owner has left the building. We don't do that anymore. And because in the cleaning industry, it's heavily, heavily Latino and Hispanic people who do the work.
Mhm,
I mean, think about it. Those of us who are here, living here, we don't want to clean our own toilets, but they're just so hungry for opportunity. They're so hungry for a chance to improve themselves and make a better life for their family. That they'll clean our toilets for us,
mhm.
and they'll do it with a smile, and they'll do it and they'll be polite. Culture is really important to them.
I,
They love their
yeah.
country and their heritage and their history. They're sad because the economy and the politics are not great in their home countries. They come here for a better life.
Mhm,
So I put up flags for every country that one of our people represented. We
mm,
have people from 14 different countries. And then I remembered something I saw in the license plates in Quebec. It says, Je me souviens. Google will say one thing because it translates as I remember. But the people walking around in the street, when I asked them what it meant and what it
mhm,
meant to them, I loved their answer. They said, I remember my culture, my history, my heritage, and my language. And I thought, oh, what a fantastic answer.
mm,
So I translated that into Spanish and changed it from I to we. We remember our culture, our history, our heritage, our language. And we put that big banner up at work. And we celebrate culture and we celebrate who they are. It's all about seeing them
mm,
as a complete package because you don't just hire the work part of a person when you hire, you get the whole package. They come with mom, they come with dad, grandma, grandpa, children. Some of these people get sick. Some of these people and their families die.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes their car breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
Other things happen. And I just found when you give them some space to take care of their things that happen in their life, they bring something really important back to work with them. They bring their heart and they bring
Mm,
their soul.
mm.
And the quality of work and the quantity of work just skyrockets. They care.
And loyalty, they bring back with them loyalty to you, loyalty to the business.
It, it is. And I mean, we hold jobs open for people when they're dealing with something happening in the family and they come back and they're just ever so grateful and they work so much harder. But the result is the business took off and it grew and
Mm,
grew and grew. And we're doing over $4 million a year in revenue just a short while later.
mm,
And then it's a franchise. I bought a franchise. So some couple of senior people came out from corporate and told me, "Oh, we're just touring, checking out the offices in the Midwest area." And that's all I
mm-hmm,
took it. They snapped a lot of pictures, and I didn't think anything of it. It
mm,
was around Thanksgiving, and then January, this was a few years back, 22. They called and said, "We're sending you to San Diego to accept an award from the International Franchise Association because of the culture you created
mm-hmm,
in your office and the
mm-hmm,
success it's having." I said, "But I
mm-hmm.
didn't apply. I didn't apply for anything." They said, "We did."
Wow,
So I went and it's the largest stage I ever stood on. I tried counting rows and chairs because I just was curious how many people were in the audience and I lost count. Somewhere 3 to 5,000 is my guess.
amazing.
And then a couple of years later, I won it again at the local franchise level just for overall performance.
Mm,
But all we did is we just kept our heads down. We just focused on how can we do what we do better. And managers, they grew from cleaners to managers,
mm,
and then they grown into become leaders.
mm,
When I could tell when that was happening, they instead of bringing me problems, they started bringing me solutions. And then the next phase, when I could tell that they were developing even beyond that, is they just said, "Oh, by the way, this happened and we dealt with it. We took care of it."
mm.
I go in more to just be visible. They run the business for me. It's something I
Amazing.
asked them to do back on Monday, April 26, 2021. I originally had a general manager who was stealing from the business, so I had to let him go.
Mm,
Then I raised the operations manager and the assistant manager to general manager and up. And
mm,
operations manager went to general manager, assistant went to
mm,
operations manager.
mm,
And then they said, "I need you to run my business for me. I need you to care about my business the way an owner would." I said, "I've got health problems. I need help. I'm
mm.
asking for your help." And I said, "My thank you to you is I will create a path to ownership for you." And as of today, they own 20% of the company. And there's five
That's
managers
amazing.
now. And at the end of October, they'll be eligible to buy another 10% of the company. And ultimately, they will own the company and it'll be theirs.
So you have your exit strategy mapped out already.
I do. And then it's a huge thank you for them helping me out.
Um, my audience knows that I often am not quiet, but I have been quiet with you because I want you to tell the story. This is such an impactful business journey that you've had. If I could, if I could replicate your knowledge and your emotional intelligence and place that in each of my private clients, their businesses would do so much better because you stepped up and you started treating the people like people. You incentivized them and said, here's how you can make extra money on top of your hourly wage. Here you go. Okay, great. You know, these people are eager for opportunities, so that gives them extra incentive to let's make a few extra dollars if we just get a good review. Then you go above and beyond and give them the space to actually have a life, and they appreciate you for it. And it's the way that you've treated your people. You transform this business in 2 months. Like it took you 2 months to transform the culture, and that has a ripple effect on your client base. It has a ripple effect on everything. So you don't have to continue to try to find new clients all the time. Yes, you want to build and grow, of course, but you're not burning through clients and acquiring new ones all the time because of the toxic culture. And the same goes for your staff. You're not burning through staff anymore. Like you've reduced those numbers greatly. Your retention for your staff and your client has gone up a lot. And I'm like, when you told me your story, I was like, I am so impressed with what you've done. I have interacted with countless businesses throughout my years as a coach, and you're like the poster child for, oh my God, you guys, this is how we get it done. And not only have you taken it from 1.6 million toxic culture to great culture where everybody is celebrated and they love working there, they're managed well, right? You have to have guidelines, you have to have boundaries, you have to have things in place to help that work too. But you took it to 4 million. Amazing. You are now working on your exit process, which is even more amazing. Like all the all of the thoughts and the emotions and the steps involved in every single part of your journey from start to now and looking into the future of how you've already prepped for exit. It's just mind-blowing to me that all of that wisdom would live inside of one person.
I learned a lot from the people I worked with over the years. Some of the very earliest managers I worked with. One had said, if you want things to work and be successful, no matter where you sit inside the organization, treat everything the way an owner would, care about it the way an owner would. Little words of wisdom like that have just been incredibly valuable over the
Mm,
years, have helped so much. It's a difference between getting it done and it's getting it done well with heart. And when I see the managers coming up with the ideas and fine tuning it, it's just so gratifying to see
mm.
that.
So
And
you've
part of
mastered
it,
something, and I have to pull this out to the audience because now I'm going to start talking. Um, the key is getting their heart involved. You have found a way to get your employees and your managers, their hearts are involved. You found a way to do that. So the key takeaway for the audience is figure out how to get your staff's heart involved. And if you could do that, oh my God, like watch out for the growth. So sorry, I had to interrupt. I had to say it because this is like the one little, there's always a linchpin, and you figured out
it,
how to do that.
but it's as a society we do so much talking, and talk is pretty cheap. It's when you connect it to real benefits, when you connect it to real money that helps pay the bills,
Mm,
and it makes your thank yous and it makes what you say to them just so much more meaningful because now life has gotten a little easier. There's a little more money left over after they pay the bills, and that
mhm,
means a lot to them because so many of these people are living paycheck to paycheck.
mhm,
And even the ones who aren't living paycheck to paycheck often have very little left over. So an extra few dollars. along with the thank you is very meaningful to them.
Hmm.
For the cleaners, it changes a typical $500 to $700 a week paycheck into more like an $800 to $1,000 a week paycheck once they get bonused from a handful of customers that they've cleaned during the week.
Mm.
A typical cleaner will do maybe 3 houses if they're larger, four if they're, you sprinkle a couple of smaller ones in there. Over the
Mm.
course of the week, they're seeing 15 to 20 different customers. And if two, three, four of them just say they did a good job, that's some real, that's life-changing money for them.
Hmm.
And then the other way we can do it is just simply by creating a positive, a caring, culturally competent workplace that they can feel good about coming to. And not have their stomach all in knots going, I have to go to that place again today. I need
Yeah.
a paycheck.
Yeah, there's no dread. They're excited. They love going to work.
Their friends are there. And it's just so much more pleasant managing that type of place.
Hmm.
Well, we have a typical discipline policies and stuff like that. But I can't
Sure.
remember like we actually had to actually use it. Pull it out of the drawer and dust it off to use it.
That's amazing. And I love that you have the policies in place, right? It's necessary, but it's so much more amazing that you haven't had to use them.
For a long time, we didn't even have that. And then the manager said, I think we just need to have it to reinforce that we have boundaries.
Hmm. Structure.
I
You
was
need
hesitant
structure.
at first, but then, yes, they were right. We needed that as just to reinforce that there's a boundary between what's okay and what's not okay.
Hmm.
In people's houses cleaning, taking something, never okay.
Right.
Never, ever, ever okay. We've permanently lost that customer forever.
Definitely.
Breaking things, well, first of all, don't do it,
Right.
but we know it happens.
Hmm.
And then we try to make it right. So the policy is if you broke it, raise your hand and just say, I did it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't lie to us. That's another ultimate no-no. Be
Mm.
honest.
Yeah.
We know things happen.
Yes. And it's you've created the culture and the environment where they feel safe to be honest, which is kudos to you again.
And that's the culture I wanted to work in, but didn't find it real often during my career. It's a culture I wanted when I had the ability to actually influence culture. And
Mm.
then part of the reason I'm selling the company is I want to take my message to a larger audience.
Hmm.
I want to take it out to the public speaking stage and helping businesses, organizations really, because this applies to, it's not just a for-profit concept. It applies to organizations, whether they are for-profit or not, about culture and how you treat people and what makes them care,
Hmm.
makes them want to care.
How do you get their heart involved? That's the
How do you
main
get their
question.
involved?
Yeah.
So I want to take it to a larger audience and work with organizations directly and work with people from the stage.
Mm. I love that you're going big with this and that you're taking that message out into the world because your story is so impactful. What you've accomplished with this business in such a short amount of time is mind-blowing. And it's coming from somebody like myself that works with businesses all the time. It is mind-blowing. So I'm able to look at my entire history working with business owners and say that my mind is blown. The general public that doesn't work with business owners, their minds should be blown too. It's incredible what you've accomplished, and you should share it. You should go out into the world. That's a light that you don't want to hide.
I didn't realize that it applied broadly just from some off the cuff conversations, even at the doctor's office with the nurse. Oh, what do you do? I do this, that, or the other. How's it going? Oh, talk about it a little bit. And next thing I know, the nurses are going, would you please talk to the management here? We need that here. And that's when the light went on for me. I just,
Yeah.
really? And I,
Hmm.
and I stepped back and thought, oh, we're really talking about organizational behavior. It doesn't matter whether it's for profit or not.
Hmm.
But until some of those conversations, I thought, oh, this is only a business type thing.
Mm.
Doctors' offices, not for profits, they're different. But no, they're
Hmm.
managing people. Their
Hmm.
goal is to deliver a result to somebody out there in the world.
Yep, you're totally right. So it when I switched from coaching people to coaching business owners, it was the same kind of path for me. People just kept asking me, like, how do you do this? How are you good at it? Help me. And I kept seeing that pattern happening over and over again. And I was like, I think I'm going to switch to business coaching because this is more fun. I get to use all of my business skills and my strategic brain, my logical brain. I get to use the psychological side of me, the emotional side of me, and that's part of like culture development and people development and CEO development or leadership development, right? So I saw the light. I was like, okay, people keep asking me for this, and I like it because it's going to utilize more of me and all of me, whereas just life coaching didn't. It didn't utilize all of me. So life kind of chose me for that role as it has with you, and I can relate.
I mean, I like that you're up there on the stage, you're delivering your message to people, you're
Hmm.
helping people on a bigger scale.
Hmm.
That,
That's
that's
my
just,
mission.
yeah, that's my mission too.
Yep.
People say, well, are you going to retire? And well, that word never really entered my mind. I just viewed
Right?
my entering a different phase of life and helping people
Hmm.
and working with them in a different capacity.
Hmm. Definitely. I mean, it's my greatest fulfillment is at 8 years old, I got my calling to change the world, spiritually got it. Not to be a doctor, not to be a lawyer. It was, hey, change the world. I was like, scared, so scared, but okay, let's go. I'm crazy enough to believe I can change the world all on my lonesome, right? So, set out to do so, left home at 15 in order to make that a reality because I couldn't change it in the toxic, abusive environment I was in. So I left home at 15 so that I could make a difference in the world. And I've been so driven toward that one mission my entire life. And it's what gets me up every day. The business that I have is much more than just a business. It's an impact on people's lives. And if we can impact people's lives and or businesses, guess what? The world becomes a better place. So that's my motivation every single day. And I don't ever plan on retiring. Will it look different if I'm still here in 20 to 40 years? Of course it will. But I don't plan on retiring either. That word is not in my vocabulary.
But people, I think, get overwhelmed when they say, well, there's so much need out there. You start somewhere with one person, with one organization, and it has this ripple effect that
Hmm.
just flows out into the world around us.
Hmm. One person at a time or one group at a time. That's how I approach it.
And that it builds momentum over time too.
Hmm.
So that's the really interesting thing about it.
And momentum that we don't see. Like I see the momentum in my world over decades, starting off when I was a teenager to where I'm at 45 years old. I see the momentum, right? But as somebody that is intentionally doing good for others and doing good for the business community and the world, essentially, we don't see the full picture of the impact that we have on others. We don't see the full ripple effect. We don't see the full momentum that maybe it shifted into their life or created in them. Like, I'm kind of glad that I don't, because that would be overwhelming. It would be massively overwhelming.
In a lot of ways, what we do for other people flows forward. The flow is always forward to
Mm,
the next person beyond them, to the next generation. It doesn't really flow in reverse.
mm,
So that's where you say you don't always see it. No, because we've started something moving and it moves forward.
mhm,
I can see it in the business every day. It's moving forward through the managers and into the employees and out to the customers.
mm. Yeah. It's not often that a business journey like yours will bring me to tears, but when you were talking in the first few minutes of this episode, I was crying. If you could see me, I was just tearing up because I'm like, I'm so moved by this guy. And there's part of it where you can't even explain it. You can't explain why you're so moved by your story, but yeah, it's a great business journey. Should it move us that much? Logically, probably not, but there's something special about your story and about you that just moves me as a human being. And I'm just like, I could see you on stage. You're on stage in front of thousands of people accepting this award. And that's when I was crying. I was like, ah, I can feel your emotion. I can feel the excitement of like, I did this. Wow,
Yeah,
I did this. Like, I did this. It's like that moment of owning, like, I did do something great and I did do something special and I need to own it and receive it. And like, I can imagine the crowd and the cheers and just all of it, man. Like, there's something special about you.
I had the hardest time owning it for a long time. Every time somebody said, you're doing great and all these wonderful things, I kept going, no, it's them. They're doing all the hard work. And then somebody finally just said, they wouldn't know what to do if you hadn't shown them.
Exactly.
I thought, wait a minute. I think maybe he's got a point there.
Mm,
I kept thinking, but they're doing the hard work. And I'd stand up on stage for the longest time and say, like, the managers did a great job, the staff did a great job. Let's applaud them. And it's just yeah, but you showed them the way.
mm,
But for a long time, I was like, did I? Was that me? Really? Me?
mm,
I had a little hard time believing it at first. That it was me.
mhm. I felt that. And it's hard for people sometimes because they're like, I don't want to become that egotistical asshole if I own my power. But you're able to own it now. And you, like, I'm a very powerful female. And in my world, I get to experience that power on a regular basis. And it just makes me more humble. It, yes, I'm very powerful. And yes, I can be like the driver personality when I need to be. But seeing the impact and how it affects other people, that's what breaks open our hearts. That's what expands us as a soul and as our hearts and as a human being. And that's what makes us more humble over time. I just got a message over the weekend from a guy from years ago on Facebook when my main focus was international work. I just got a message from him over the weekend saying, Misty, I know it's been years, but you helped me through the toughest time of my life. So thank you. And I'm like, that is why I do what I do. And it doesn't make me more of an egotistical asshole. It makes me more humble to own it, to own the power of what I do because I do it with my heart and I do it with intention. That's what means something. So I'm glad that you're owning it because you need to. And I don't ever see you becoming that asshole. So just own it.
I'm actually pretty humble, and I can be shy at times.
Mm. But you're powerful. You found the secret sauce. And it goes back to that one question of how do we get their heart involved? So this is what I want to leave the audience with. And I want you to have your closing statement as well. But before we do that, what is your website so they can find you?
It's www.silversun, sun as in sun,
Mm,
consulting.com.
very nice.
If you go to the About page, it has my email address and there's a phone number there. That phone
Mm,
number rings right here.
awesome.
I like talking to people. Call me.
Mm, yes. If you want to talk, chat, consult, hire him for your stage, please, please, please. If you want your audience to be moved in some special way that can't be explained, Todd is your guy. As a fellow speaker, it's not common for that effect to happen. So, um, they would do well to hire you for speaking engagements. And that's what I'm going to say about that. So what can you leave our audience with today?
There is benefit, real benefit to the organization, to the world around you in caring for the people you work with and the people who work for you. When they bring their heart and they bring their soul to work, not only is the work done better, more of it gets done. Your clients and customers are going to be thrilled with the result that they get. Your organization's going to grow, and believe it or not, your expenses will actually go down as your revenues go up. There's real numbers behind this that work. It's more than just touchy-feely stuff. There's real numbers there.
Mhm.
Don't discount the real power that caring has on an organization and its future.
Couldn't have said it better. All right, you guys, I'm closing this interview because I'm going to start crying like a baby. Todd, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Misty.
Thank you guys for being a great audience. And until next time, we will see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wealthy Mind podcast. Please be sure to download the Wealthy Mind app today and make sure to support your local Dress for Success.